Okay, so some big news in the last 24 hours coming out of the sporting world in North America is that Major League Baseball, the team owners, have voted in favour of a lockout. The Players Association and the league have failed to come to a new collective bargaining agreement. And in my last Major League Baseball video, I did feel that this was an inevitability. I wasn't expecting it to happen so quickly. There are many issues at play. Many issues at play. The luxury tax, so the lack of a salary cap, the uneven distribution of wealth within the league, the TV deal that the league has with various broadcasters, escrow, salary retention, you name it, issues are there. We came close last year in the talks about resumption of play. Major League Baseball lagged far behind the other leagues in sorting out a return to play date, how many games would be played, how much salary would be retained. Now, thankfully that was avoided. But Major League Baseball is well behind the other North American professional leagues when it comes to having a salary cap, coming to revenue sharing. And the last time we had any labour unrest, it cost Canada a team in the Montreal Expos. It was a major reason why they moved south of the border. The Toronto Blue Jays, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that market and with that team. But what a sorry state of affairs Major League Baseball is in. The fact it has lacked a salary cap and the amount of labour unrest between the 70s and the 90s was, well, ruinous. The fact they're still recovering from the steroid scandal. Major League Baseball keeps shooting itself in the foot. And when you're obviously trying to negotiate TV deals, sponsorship deals, stability is key. This is what the NHL found out in from the mid-90s through to the mid-2010s with three lockouts and a player strike. Was it affected the stability of the league. In that period, teams did move. Now, there were other economic circumstances for teams being relocated, predominantly from Canada to the southern US, but the principle remains that the lack of stability and the constant labour unrest affected the league's growth. Now, Major League Baseball is a wealthier league than the NHL, fact. However, we don't know how long this lockout is going to last. It may be resolved before the next season resumes play in 2022. It may run into next season, which then creates a headache. Some of the poorer teams will be bleeding money because they're more reliant on gate receipts, for example. How the players... It doesn't look good on a PR standpoint, from a playing standpoint, and a league ownership standpoint, because fans, from what I've seen on social media, are calling them both greedy, basically. The owners want to make as much money as possible. The players want to get paid as much as possible. The players will not be happy with a salary cap being imposed on their earnings. But some teams are hemorrhaging money massively. There is a very unequal distribution of wealth, and the luxury tax is part of that. Now, I'm not a major expert on the intricate workings of salary caps, but it does surprise me that Major League Baseball doesn't have one. Another thing that surprises me is how late Major League Baseball was in taking games to London in comparison to the other sports that have been to Europe, and how badly they handled that by delaying it a year, and it wasn't the best. Let's just say the reaction was very, very mixed on the London series that we had before COVID. But I'm also surprised Major League Baseball took that long to come over to Europe to explore the European market and the European fan base. And don't get me wrong, I've got friends who are baseball fans. I've got friends who are NFL fans, NHL fans, all the Major League, NBA. I am surprised how long it took Major League Baseball to agree to a London series, because you have to get the Players' Union involved with that. Does this, therefore, down the line mean that no longer happens? Do the players go in the next collective bargaining agreement? We don't want to take games out of North America, because that could be a sticking point. So the MLB is in a very tricky situation, because this lockout could go on for quite some time. Quite some time. A lockout is open-ended. It's when both sides will come to an agreement. The players haven't gone on strike. The league has voted to lock them out. So labour unrest returns for the first time in 26 years to Major League Baseball, and for the first time in 31 years, we are seeing a lockout. It's very damaging PR-wise, considering that other sports are playing right now. Major League Soccer is growing rapidly. Major League Rugby is growing rapidly. The NHL has just expanded again. Other sports, we're going, well, we're going to take... baseball fans are clearly dissatisfied with the product. They're not happy with with the situation. Major League Baseball, depending on how long this lockout lasts, could be, well, repairing the damage for years to come. But I'm going to leave that there. Thank you very much for watching. If you are a Major League Baseball fan, please leave your comment in the section below. And I want to see what you feel about the lockout and, how long do you think it go on for? Because from what I can gather on social media, this has been brewing for quite some time. I look at the comments on Major League Baseball videos. I look on social media on fan forums. Sports fan forums give you a lot about the mood of fan bases. This has been brewing for some time. They narrowly avoided a shutdown or lockout or player strike last year, and we're talking it went down to the wire. But this was a bit more unexpected how suddenly this has happened. But at the same time, it was inevitable with the lack of a salary cap, with the divided rich teams versus poor teams, the wage inflation. It was inevitable that it was going to happen. It was a question of when. So I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say, but thank you very much for watching. Please place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you very, very soon.